There will be a time in your life when you will come to a very strange place. It will be a weird space in life when an old chapter closes, but the new one hasn't opened yet. It's at that moment when you hear the door to your past shutting and the light before you is too dim to see where you're going. It's a frustrating place where you no longer know where you are and you don't know where you're going all at the same time. You know you're ready for the past situation to be over, but God hasn't given you clarity on what is to replace it. Sometimes the difficulty is that you've moved on from the past and you're living in the future, but the future has not yet revealed to you what your purpose is. You're frustrated in your destiny and you're haunted by your history, wanting to go back to what you used to hate because you're not familiar with where you're going. At least where you were comfortable. At least where you were, you knew where to go. This place now is frustrating because you are in transition. You are going from where you were to where you're called to be, and nobody survives it without cuts and bruises. Nobody survives it unscathed, and nobody gets through clean. It's a dirty business. It is a hard thing to survive and thrive at the same time. It's hard to be believing God for clarity while at the same time you're confused. All of us have been there and have experienced the indecision of what to do. It's the time in your life when a door closes behind you, but the way ahead is not seen immediately. There may have been a time when you were known as a person who could handle anything, but now you find yourself confused in this life. When your rhythm is disrupted and you can't go back, but you don't know what going forward looks like. Again, I remind you, it's a time of transition. But be not weary in the transition, for you will reap a harvest if you faint not. I know it feels like failure, but it's transition. It feels like punishment, but it's transition. It feels like an in-between space, a season when things you thought were for sure no longer make sense. Times of transition are not uncommon. It may be a transition in your finances, a transition in your health, a transition in your relationships, or a transition in your career. It's a time when you don't know how to go forward, but you know you can't go back. You don't want to be where you are, but there's no clear direction on what your new purpose is going to be. This will perhaps be the hardest part of your life because you thought by this time you have all the answers. You begin to feel like a failure, thinking that people with less talent than you have gone further and people with bad character seem to be doing better. You trust that God is working on something, but what you don't understand is that as God is working on something in your life, He's going to use you as an example to show people what happens when you wait on it. So be encouraged because the word says that our God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask or think. Know that the transition is holy ground. I know you want stability. I know you want answers. But sometimes the not knowing is the best place for you to be. You have got to know that God is trying to change what you depend on because He knows how blindly we move forward when we think we know the direction. We have a tendency to move ahead subconsciously, paying very little attention to the warning signs. Sometimes God will send you where you've never been so you can turn off your understanding and in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Perhaps this is confusing, but you have still got to trust Him. You may not know what He is doing. God's love is not contingent upon your comprehension of His plan. You've got to trust and know that He has your best interest in mind and He has a plan to promote you and not harm you. God's love should not be questioned even when His strategy cannot be seen. We walk by faith, not by sight, and God does not cease to be God because He does not explain His godliness to you. His ways are not your ways. His thoughts are not your thoughts. You may find yourself somewhere between comfort and fear, somewhere between trust and distrust, and you have a decision to make. That decision must be to trust His plan. You must be prepared to continue to love God even when He is confusing you. Be prepared to love God even when He's not talking to you. Love God even when He has hidden His methodology, because it's called transition. God's love is not contingent upon your comprehension of His methods. God doesn't have to explain anything to you. He doesn't have to be clear to prove that He loves you. We walk by faith and not by sight. He doesn't have to let you know what He is doing, because He's already let you know who He is. And if He does nothing else, He's already done enough. Let me tell you why that situation you thought was going to last forever didn't work. The reason why it didn't work is because when you got into it, you were in transition. And when you're in transition, you accept things you really don't like. You'll revisit your past, trying to change it into your future. It wasn't actually a bad idea, but you were evolving. It may have been good for who you were, but bad for who you were becoming. When you're in transition, you must take your time and not rush. You may want everything right now, but you must wait until God's timing becomes your timing. Allow God to continue to build your infrastructure until the time to move forward is right. Respect the process and do not try to hurry God. Shortcuts will get you in trouble. Wait on the Lord. Don't let ambition create anxiety in your life. Trust that God has your best interest in mind. That way, you won't have something deformed because you are trying to shape the outcome. Wait. Waiting will allow you to see the way forward to your destiny. God will then pronounce a blessing over your life when you allow Him to follow His plan for your life. He will honor the promises spoken in His word. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Maybe you're in a season right now where nothing feels familiar. Doors have closed, people have shifted, plans have changed, and you keep whispering, God, what are you doing? But what if this isn't confusion? What if it's construction? What if God is not dismantling your life? He's developing it. Transition is uncomfortable because it stretches us beyond what we've known. But stretching is proof of growth, and growth is evidence that God isn't finished with you yet. When you can't trace His hand, trust His heart. When you don't understand the process, trust His promises. When the path feels uncertain, remember, He sees the whole picture. This season is not punishment, it's preparation. So instead of asking God, what are you doing? Maybe ask, God, what are you building in me? Hold on, stay faithful, keep walking. Because on the other side of this transition is clarity, strength, and purpose you couldn't see before. You are not lost, you are being led. If this message spoke to you, type, I trust you, Lord, in the comments as a declaration of faith. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's in transition right now. And if you need more encouragement, visit renewedmind369.com for resources, devotionals, and tools to help you grow through every season. Take your prayer life to the next level with our 21-day prayer and devotional journal. Log on to our website. The link is in the description. God is working, even when you can't see it.